I wanted to make a statement on what I said in my previous live stream. You probably won't believe me when I say this, but whenever I go online and I hear other players use the same kind of language that I did, I always find it extremely immature and stupid.
I'm Scott Rouse. I'm a body language expert and analyst, and I train law enforcement and the military in interrogation and body language. And I created Body Language Tactics with Greg Hartley. Mark?
I'm Mark Bowden. I'm an expert in human behavior and body language. I help people all over the world to stand out, win trust, and gain credibility every time they communicate, including some of the leaders of the G7. Chase.
I'm Chase Hughes. I'm a best-selling author of a book on behavioral profiling, body language, persuasion and influence. I train those things to government agencies and the general public. I'm also in Florida. I apologize. My background is different. Greg.
I'm Greg Hartley. I'm a former Army interrogator, interrogation instructor, resistance to interrogation instructor. I've written 10 books on body language and behavior and put this course, Body Language Tactics, at bodylanguagetactics.com together with Scott. And I spend most of my time on Wall Street and in corporate America.
Excellent. All right. Well, today we're going to go over a few apology videos. And those are the videos that someone does when they're an internet star and they've made a mistake by saying something they shouldn't have or doing something they shouldn't have, and they come on and apologize for it. So Greg's collected a bunch of those, and we're going to take a look at a few of them. We ready?
Yep. Let's do it.
All right, let's move.
I wanted to make a statement on what I said in my previous live stream. You probably won't believe me when I say this, but whenever I go online and I hear other players use the same kind of language that I did, I always find it extremely immature and stupid. And I hate how I now personally fed into that part of gaming as well. It was something that I said in the heat of the moment. I said the worst word I could possibly think of, and it just sort of slipped out. And I'm not gonna make any excuses to why it did, because there are no excuses for it. I'm disappointed in myself because it seems like I've learned nothing from all these past controversies. And it's not that I think I can say or do whatever I want and get away with it. That's not it at all. I'm just an idiot. But that doesn't make what I said or how I said it okay. It was not okay. I'm really sorry if I offended, hurt, or disappointed anyone with all of this. Being in the position I am, I should know better. I know I can't keep messing up like this. And I owe it to my audience and to myself to do better than this, because I know I'm better than this. I really want to improve myself and better myself, not just for me, but for anyone that looks up to me or anyone that's influenced by me. And that's how I want to move forward away from this. That's all I had to say. Thank you for watching. Bye.
All right. Well, I'll go first on this one. In this one, we see lots of illustrators. We see lots of loping. He's just talking. I don't think this is rehearsed. I think he thought about what he was going to say. I think he turned his camera on and went with it. He may have added a couple of things because there are edits in there or something he didn't like, or he may have coughed or something. But I think I think at that point we're seeing honesty up to that point. Then we see that head tilt down a little bit. As he's talking, sometimes the head will go down to the right a little bit. That denotes emotion. Excuse me, as he's talking through that. And I think it's true emotion we're seeing in that. His voice tone and vernacular, all that stuff is the same as it is in his baseline. I watched some other things where he's talking. It's the same thing. I think he's being himself in this. And the camera, he looks right down the barrel. His illustrators are big. You see a lot of his hands moving, and we see him. These illustrators hit right on the money. Every time he talks, the words that his brain is supposed to be emphasizing, he's emphasizing right where he should be. So that tells me that that's sincere as well. I think this mine's short because I believe this guy. I believe every word he says. I know people like that. And when they're being honest and when they're talking about something they've done or messed up, as we do, it looks real. And this to me looks and feels real. And I think he'd be a good hang. I mean, just by looking at that, by the way he's handling that, I think he'd be a good hang and somebody you could trust and want to hang around with, as corny as that sounds. And on a 1 to 10, I give him a 10 in sincerity and being honest. Greg, what do you got?
Yeah, so a few things. Yeah, the illustrators are on message. He's delivering his message. He actually does what I refer to as request for approval, where he has a confirming glance where he looks to say, hey, I screwed up. And you see his brow rise and drop. When he talks about people doing this all the time, you see some contempt as his lip rises and exposes his left canine. And then as you look through the rest of this thing, he actually uses social contract language. Look, this is bad. And there's shame associated with this. And as much as you'll see, I think, anybody do in these videos, he breaks eye contact as often as he can. He knows he still has to look, but there's that. His blink rate increases as he talks about shame and about breaking the social contract. I'll just go ahead and give him mine too. I'm going to give him 8. I rarely give anybody 10 because, who knows how much it took. But it does look natural. It doesn't look rehearsed. I don't see him eye accessing for recall words. So I'll give him an 8 out of 10. And I think it's actually there, yeah. Mark.
Yeah, so I haven't had a chance to baseline him, so I don't know whether he consistently has the kind of slight lip curl that I see throughout this. He doesn't?
No.
Okay, so that's important. I wanted to make a statement. He snarls on that. There's dislike around making this statement. He doesn't want to be doing this, okay? So what can we construe from that? Well, either he dislikes what he's done, or he dislikes having to talk about what he's done, or he dislikes this moment. Essentially, something he'd rather not be doing. He controls the objections right from moment one. He says it was because of the heat of the moment, and then later on he says, well, I'm not going to make excuses. Well, heat of the moment is an excuse, and so he's kind of countermeasured already the idea of putting an excuse up front and then saying, I won't be excusing myself. It's already been done. You probably won't believe me when I say this. Again, this is taking control of the objections right up front. So I think we've got to understand there's some really good crisis management 101 messaging going on during this. At the same time as we've got Scott and Greg here saying, I think this is honest and felt. It's worth thinking about. This isn't, it's well thought out, I would suggest. I hope I haven't disappointed anyone with all of this. I don't see shame at that point. I see disgust, again, around this idea of disappointment. So yeah, he's probably disgusted with himself that he's got himself into this situation and he's disappointed people, but I'm not seeing strong shame around that. He wants to move forward away from this. I mean, that's a beautiful classic of crisis management, is let's just move forward away from all of this. And I think there is some severity softening there. I mean, what are we talking about? Where are we moving from? Where are we moving? Where's the better place? What was the problem here? It's not being stated at this point. And he does show disgust and the bitter taste as well. So let me give you my mark. Yeah, I think there's a lot of good feeling in this, and it seems to be well and kind of authentically put across. At the same time, I think he's really thought about how he's going to control the message in this and move people forward. So there's some good crisis management 101 happening in the background here. Chase, what have you got?
Yeah, so we do see this sneer that he does with his lip, exposing his canine. Charles Darwin wrote about this in the 1800s. He noticed it in animals and then started talking about how it's a similar thing in humans, except in response to social threat instead of physical threat. Same thing we see a dog do. There's more cuts in the video, but I think that's just indicative of a YouTuber, because there's a report published in 2007 that says the more cuts you have between language, the more someone's willing to spend more time on the video. So they'll stick around longer. I hate how I fell into this. We see genuine emotional recall there. his ears get redder throughout the video. And this is an indicator called ear blushing. Most people refer to it as ear blushing. It's not very reliable. It's stress, excitement, anger. There's a long list of stuff that it could be. So I would not say that that's a reliable indicator very much. But there are some very specific Swedish behaviors that we're seeing in here that are more prevalent in Sweden. He makes more eye contact with the camera. That eye contact is very common in Sweden. And he's very to the point, without humor, and it's business purposes only. And when the video's over, he says, okay, that's it, and I'm finished with the video, whatever he says. Very, very Swedish. And the eyebrow flash is extremely common in Sweden. And you see he's a multimillionaire, and he's in this room that looks like a college kid's apartment. I don't think that was deliberate to show some kind of poverty. In Sweden, if you say I'm a #1 bestseller or I have the #1 body language course, people will look down on you, everybody. So they are very muted with a lot of their things. So I think that's just his natural way of being and his lifestyle. Overall, I'd give him probably a 9.
All right, cool.
I wanted to make a statement on what I said in my previous live stream. You probably won't believe me when I say this, but whenever I go online and I hear other players use the same kind of language that I did, I always find it extremely immature and stupid, and I hate how I now personally fed into that part of gaming as well. It was something that I said in the heat of the moment. I said the worst word I could possibly think of, and it just sort of slipped out. And I'm not gonna make any excuses to why it did, because there are no excuses for it. I'm disappointed in myself because it seems like I've learned nothing from all these past controversies. And it's not that I think I can say or do whatever I want and get away with it. That's not it at all. I'm just an idiot. But that doesn't make what I said or how I said it okay. It was not okay. I'm really sorry if I offended, hurt, or disappointed anyone with all of this. Being in the position I am, I should know better. I know I can't keep messing up like this. And I owe it to my audience and to myself to do better than this, because I know I'm better than this. I really want to improve myself and better myself, not just for me, but for anyone that looks up to me or anyone that's influenced by me. And that's how I want to move forward away from this. That's all I had to say. Thank you for watching. Bye.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
All right, then there's one more in the can, and I'll see you guys next time.
See you.
Good.
Vi ser no van a ser